What up?
What up? We are DV, and today is Thursday, February the 13th, day before Valentine's Day,
Right.
2025. So check it out. It seems quite appropriate to speak on the subject of love. What is love? What is it? What is love? If you ask me, I'd say love is a feeling. Love is a frequency. Love is a vibration. When I say love is a frequency, it means, well, when you say frequency, it means something that happens quite often, right? Frequent. So, I guess a frequency is the same thing as a vibration because it's energy. Yeah, it's a frequency and a vibration, apparently a very powerful one, because if you think about it, a lot of the stuff we do is out of love on some level. Some level. And if you didn't know, there's different levels to love. There's levels to everything in life. That's what's so awesome about life. There's different levels to experience. But love is different layers and levels to it. But all in all, love is why we exist. I think that's probably why the term make love exists.
I mean, we're made out of love.
Yeah. You know.
Made from love.
Yeah. Even the Bible tells you that. You know.
Believe in that kind of thing, yeah.
If you believe in that kind of thing, but it speaks of being created out of love.
Right. I mean, a lot of times it just sound more, like, you know, easier way to explain it is just like, you know, when people have sex or fuck, or some people call it make love, that's what makes a baby. You know, the actual act of that makes a baby, you know, making love.
Even the term self-preservation, the reason why that even exists is because of love.
Right. You
love yourself enough not to let yourself perish. That's what self-preservation is really about. That's in its essence.
Yeah, they said it's out of survival, but I think even that is rooted still
in self-love. Yeah, because you want to survive out of love. You know. Yeah. So love, it is a very powerful thing. It is. I think that love even exists all throughout the universe, because if there's different creations and beings throughout the universe, wouldn't they exist out of love too? Wouldn't the creations, all other types of creations, just in our world alone on planet Earth, in your environment, something created those things, and why? You know, I've heard people say that love is it's a universal thing. It's a universal power. You know, they say underneath everything is love. Even the opposite of love is hate. But they say you can't hate nobody no more than you love them. Think about that. Love can be healing as well. You know, think about a mother's love. You know, everybody out there that was raised by their mom or something, and they had that nurturing love, you know, or when you were sick, just the idea of your mom kissing you on your forehead, or when you were a little kid and you had a boo-boo, and she kisses it, and that out of that alone, that's because of love, and that's why it felt better, because of love that was exhibited, the love that was shown.
So I think, like, you know, when it comes to the parents, the paternal and maternal love, motherly love could be described as nurturing, and then you got the fatherly love, which is more protective, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, a big part of being a dad is that protective part, and that exists out of love. You know.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of different, like I said, back to the levels of love.
Yeah.
2 different levels when it comes to that motherly and fatherly love.
Yeah.
You definitely will experience differences in how that love is expressed.
Yeah. I mean, you know, when my daughter was born, shit, that helped me understand a whole new level of love. I didn't know different levels of love like that until my daughter was born. You know, the idea of when you see that baby for the first time, and especially if they look like you, and you see a lot of yourself in that baby, and you watch that baby grow, you know, and learn and develop. With that, you start having better and deeper understandings of love. You know, to this day, I still really can't even put it in words. But I just started to understand love on deeper levels. You know, just I mean, for me, I would sometimes just see my daughter and I would think I don't think I can love anything any more than this. You know what I mean?
I've heard that a lot.
Yeah, you know, it's just a feeling that I really can't explain. But that is definitely another level of love that I never knew until then. You know, shit. It can even transfer into like that, even the relationships, like romantic wise. I was able I learned new levels of love with my daughter's mom, you know, after my daughter was born. You know, you gotta think. I saw my daughter be born, come out of that thing. And I still, after the fact, I still loved it even more, my daughter's mom, because it was like the idea that I got to see her grow into this new person, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, as my daughter was, you know, in her stomach and in motherhood, and just seeing her snap into this whole different being, that is a whole new level of love for me. I started to see her, I started to understand her differently, understand love differently. You know, it was no longer just a relationship. We weren't just dating anymore. It was like we became parents. So it was like, it just changed my whole view on love altogether. It made me had to look past the small things and start seeing who she was and loving her for her and not just the physical anymore. That was all cool, but it was like instantly I started seeing things just a little bit more deeper. I don't know why, but that's just what it was, you know. So that's another example of levels of love, you know. I guess when it hits you, you know.
Yeah. Even love with like with friendships, right? It's like I've seen really close friends argue about like the loyalty or the commitment to that friendship and the love that's in it. Argue about it, like, you know, what is love? You know, we talked about it. He said it's a frequency and all that, but like
It's a feeling.
Yeah, it's a feeling, right? But like I also think it's something that people don't talk a lot about. I think love is also an action. If it's not expressed, it's a lot easier to say you love somebody than it is to actually show somebody you love them, right?
For sure.
That's one thing I'm really personally and really big on is you can tell me you love me. I'm not saying don't tell me you love me. I said this a lot in a lot of relationships, and I've said, you know, you can tell me you love me all day, and that's cool. I hear you, but I don't necessarily believe any of it until I see it through actions, right? That's the best way to really not say she's trying to get someone to believe you or, you know, prove that you love them, but the best way to express it, and it would actually, I think the best way somebody would really have a lasting effect is by showing it through the actions, right? Meaning, obviously giving, meaning trusting them, meaning showing them that you trust them. Don't just say it, but show them how you trust them. Also, so with the sharing thing, but also being honest with them, right? I just don't think you can truly love anybody if you're not being honest with them. I think that to me is a high way of showing, a high level of expressing love by being honest with someone. Lying is very easy to do these days, and people do it every day online. They do it every day when they talk to people. But to be honest is a rare thing, I think, now. And I think the best way you can really express your love to someone is by being honest with them. Regardless of how it looks to them, how it feels to them, being honest is really an expression of love. That's how I see that. I really do. That's your way of showing it. Because like I said, people say I love you. It's just a word for some people, you know. I see people do it all the time. I love this, I love that, I love them, I love them, I love them. But do you really?
Yeah.
You know? I don't see it in your actions. If I don't see it in your actions, I don't care who it's coming from. I don't believe you. You know? It's just the word going in my ear and out the other. I don't care. So love to me is definitely an action as well. You know, it has to be shown. It has to be expressed. And sometimes, a lot of ways, physical ways. I think it should be expressed in physical ways.
How do you guys express love?
Right.
How do you express love?
Right.
I know everybody does it differently. You know, there's such thing as what love language that exists for a reason.
Right. Exactly.
You know, I remember a long time ago, a chick I was with told me something about that, and I was like, I don't know what the hell you talking about.
Love languages?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, whatever. But I mean, it makes a lot of sense now. You know, we all express our love in different ways. You know, and you know, unfortunately, I gotta be honest. Like, not everybody is, because we live in a not so perfect world. So a lot of us in this life are sometimes taught unhealthy ways to express our love. You know, it's not always pretty, man. There's always a negative side and a positive side to life, even with love. Some of us, a lot of us, because we live on planet Earth, I guess, we live in an imperfect world. We learn negative ways to express love. You know, someone taught us love. Well, they showed us some really negative shit, but it was their interpretation of love, apparently. And we learn that. A lot of times we learn it young. So we learn to express that sometimes and to the people that we love in a negative way. Sometimes people just don't even know any better, you know? But it takes love to understand that. It takes love to be patient enough to say, why are you like this? Why do you love this way? What makes you think what you're saying to me is you expressing love? Especially when I've already expressed that I don't feel love when you say that. And if someone doesn't care enough to try to change that, you gotta look at that, you know? It's one thing if they don't know any better, but if they don't care to change it, once you made it clear to them how you made how it makes you feel, and it doesn't make you feel loved, you know, that's up for you, but you should pay attention to that. But ultimately, everybody wants to be loved, I think, you know. I think even the most hardened person, gone through all type of shit, they still want to be loved, you know. Otherwise, why do people, I've heard stories about like dudes that go, you know, to prison and shit, and they do solitary confinement for long periods of time. And even some of them, I heard stories of people going crazy because of that. Why do you think that is? Is it because of the lack of connection?
Yes.
And where is that connection coming from? Where does it stem from? What's the need to connect with other people from? What's that about?
Love is behind
love,
that.
I think.
Love
you know?
is behind that too.
Yeah. Why do people go towards religion? A lot of times it's out of love, you know, or misunderstood love sometimes, you know.
Speaking of misunderstood love, there's this thing called conditional love, right? And it's a weird thing to even say conditional love, because to me it almost sounds like an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Conditional love. They don't seem, to me, my understanding of love doesn't sound right to even put those two words together. But yet, there's a lot of people who do it. Conditional love, right? Conditional based on what a person either does for you or who they are for you, right? I've experienced it all different types of ways, where someone only showed love to me when I gave them something or did something for them.
Yeah.
Or when I was the kind of person they wanted me to be. That's when the love was expressed. The second you stop being who they want you to be, all of a sudden the love's gone all of a sudden, you know? Or you stop giving to that. Now the love is gone, you know? To me, that's not love at all. That's just, if anything, manipulation. You know, that's something people should pay attention to. Some of you might already be aware of it, you know? If you are, leave some comments, let me know what you think about that. Because I've experienced a lot of that as well. But I didn't really know I have a word for it at the time that I was feeling it. But yeah, or I was seeing it from somebody. But I don't even consider it love. Love can only be unconditional. It can't be conditional, or it's not even love at all. Even though it is called unconditional, you know, it's an actual thing people call conditional love. But I don't consider that love at all. Love to me is either unconditional, you know. Speaking of that, what about love with limits?
Love with limits.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's what you just explained. Conditional love.
Yes and no, because I was talking about more like in the context of like a family member. You love them, but
Oh, I know what you
you know
mean.
what I'm saying?
Loving a person but having boundaries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think you can still love them for sure. I mean, I think I generally love everybody from a distance at this point in my life. Just because it's just my nature a little bit. And mainly because nigga done been through some shit, you know? So it's like, it's not even out of fear. It's just like, I understand that people aren't perfect. So I expect people to do some things that I may not necessarily agree with that might actually offend me or hurt me in some ways, you know? But I understand that it's not necessarily them trying to hurt me. It's just me being hurt because we just don't align on certain things. Doesn't mean I love you any less. We just don't align on certain ideas.
Right.
You know, that's just part of being human. That's life. So yeah, because that's a good question. Because when I was younger, it used to be I'm cut them off. Anybody, whoever it was, if it doesn't align, bam, that's not love. So fuck them. You know, I've understood now. Like this, like I said, there's levels to this shit. You gain more perspective. You understand now. You know, and you take out the emotional side of it and look at it from a more logical side. Like you could say, fuck that. That ain't love. But think about all the other times that they had your back.
Exactly.
Think about the odds, like not odds, but the average, the average of it. What's the average of it?
Right.
Okay, they probably do. You just don't understand what's going on right now, or you just disagree with each other right now. Don't mean there's any less love. Don't throw away somebody that you really love because you had a misunderstanding. Think about that.
Right, because that goes back to the conditional love to me. You know what I'm saying? What, now it's only love when we agree? You know what I'm saying? As soon as we disagree, what?
Yeah.
Now the love's gone?
Right, and that's how you know too, and that's how you really know. Yeah. I was gonna say, you talked about the love with limits.
With limits, like basically boundaries.
Boundaries. I was gonna say something else about that.
I think it's healthy. I think it's a good way to protect your own energy, right? Because you do need to do that, because that's self-love, right?
Yeah.
Protecting yourself, keeping boundaries is a form of self-love, right? You can't even love anybody else if you don't love yourself first. Let's get that right. Without that inner love for self first, you can't spread that out to anybody else. So self-love is always going to come first if you ever have any intention of loving anybody else. So, and that will mean at all times, honestly, having boundaries though, protecting your love, your energy first. Make sure it's good first. That's self-love.
How do you guys know if you're in love? In love. Is there a difference between being in love and loving? Do you think? Is there a difference between being in love or just loving someone? What does it look like?
Right. To be in love and then love somebody.
For me, to be in love, like now that I'm about to be 40 and I've been through so much, my perspective on love and being in love is changed. I can be in love, but I won't be as in love as often as I used to. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be like, I can love everybody damn near. You know what I'm saying? I love often, but being in love doesn't happen as often anymore. And I don't fall as deeply in love anymore.
Same here.
You know, it's not even, I don't even think it's because I just don't want to be. It's just, I just know how I have discernment now. I can see where it's going. You know what I mean? I can feel if it's really like that or if it's just more sexual or just more, you know, physical than actual love. I can have love for a person and not be in love, you know?
Well, I will say is, for me, with the in love thing, I don't think it's possible to even be in love if you have any boundaries up at all.
Exactly.
I mean, any walls up or anything, it won't happen. You have to allow yourself to be in love.
To be vulnerable.
To be in love is to be vulnerable.
Right.
That's one thing for sure.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So if for those people who hope to be in love, I can tell you that it ain't gonna happen to you unless you let down those boundaries. Let them down.
Yeah.
Because it won't happen. It just can't happen.
So for you people out there that, you know, Valentine's Day is tomorrow, if you guys, whether you're in love or just want to be loving, enjoy yourself. Don't not put yourself first, cause you gotta love yourself first. All right. So if you're gonna be out there, don't be out there acting thirsty, searching for it just cause it's Valentine's Day.
Right.
Just be in the moment, love yourself, and love the moment. Be in love with the moment. Hear me? Yeah. So I just want to say thank you for being here. Appreciate you tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. We are DV. I love you. But I also love myself. And I love you because I love myself. So you should love yourself for yourself. All right, man.